why I was going to make this tutorial to help you get your exam view tests onto Moodle and show you how that process works. If you are lucky and you don't have any images in your test, it's a little bit easier process. So I'm going to do a test that's strictly text and has no pictures. Alright, so to start, on your Moodle page, wherever you're going to put this test, go to wherever it's going and put your editing on. As you can see, mine is on because I have a whole bunch of icons and boxes everywhere. And I'm going to drop down to where I want to put the test. You always get two drop-down boxes. The second one, you want to select quiz. On Moodle, quiz is a test. It doesn't matter. It's just called a quiz. And you want to give it a name. Example, Moodle exam. Leave this box blank. If you scroll down, you'll see a whole bunch of options, and I'll go through those with you later. I just want to make sure that we get at least the questions loaded. Alright, so kind of ignore everything for now. Scroll down, save, and return to course. When you do that, you will see that you've created a link for the test, example Moodle exam. The little checkbox here with this little cornered dog-eared piece of paper, this means it's an online test format. Alright, so now that you have that ready, go to your exam view, and whatever questions you have, I have an example, true, false, some silly stuff. Some stuff I've imported from a math disk, but no pictures. A numeric response, a completion, which is basically fill in the blank, as well as an essay. So I have a little collection of questions here. In exam view, in order to get this test to get onto Moodle, once you're done making your questions, you want to go to File, Export. You want to export this into Blackboard 5.x. Okay, not 6.0. You want to do Blackboard 5.x. There's a weird thing with Moodle and Blackboard 6.0. So we're going to go to Blackboard, and you got to give it a name. I'm going to call this example. And what I do to save some time is I copy that name only because I know coming up I'm going to have to write two names. So on the top you put your name there and directory name. Everything else, leave it alone. If you want to put a description, great, but you don't have to have it. What you need is this name and the directory name. Hit OK. ExamView is going to import this into what's called a zip file. So I'm going to close out of ExamView. And what I'll do is I'll show you and go to wherever you just saved that test. I happen to save it to a folder as a demonstration. And here it is. It's zipped. You need to unzip this. Your software may be different. Maybe you got a pop-up window. But for me, I have extract all files. And I go through the whole next clicking thing. Voila, there are my unzipped files. Okay. This document right here, this res 00000, this is actually your test. We need to get this onto Moodle, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Alright, back to your Moodle page. So click back into Moodle, and I'm going to click on the test. Hit the test link, and you're going to get a bunch of tabs and some categories here. If you notice, you have Preview Edit. You're in the Edit tab because you are editing your test. So we need to import questions. We have a file. It's ready to be imported. We're going to import, and if you notice, you have a bunch of formats to import from. ExamView through Blackboard seems to work better. ExamView into Moodle, I haven't tried that. I just don't trust it. I've had problems before. So maybe it's better, but for now, this is what we do. Blackboard, and you want your category. I do this. I choose for whatever test I'm giving. I make it that category. So I know when I save those questions later in a bank, it's under a certain title. So I know, oh, okay, this test has these questions. So I pick the test I want to use here, and you want to upload this. So if you browse back to where you saved your unzipped files, so let me get there, and my example, and it's this res with the 5 zeros, you want that, open it, and you want to upload. And what Moodle's doing right now is it is parsing these questions. It's reading the HTML code and turning it into questions. And if you see it's importing 9 questions, go down to the bottom, continue. You're good. Now what you have is you have a question bank. And if you notice the symbols, you have this box means essay. We have an essay question. These are multiple choice symbols. This is short answer, and 2 little dots mean true or false. What you want to do is you want to select all your questions and move them to the default, for example, Moodle exam. So you have a question bank now created. All right, so you saved your questions into a bank. Now what you want to do is go make the quiz. You could use all of these questions. You could use one of them. You could use just a few of them. I'm going to use all of them. If you notice, my category is default for Moodle exam. And I'm going to select all the questions and add them to the quiz. On the left-hand side, this is what my quiz is going to look like, or my test. It's going to have these questions on it. And if you can notice here, you have these little arrows. If I choose to remove a question, I just click the arrow. It goes back into the bank. Okay, now I only have 8 questions. How you want to do your grade is up to you. Some teachers like to do 100%. Moodle will automatically figure this all out for you. Or you could just call it 8, whatever, 4, how many points you want. Okay, so actually I'm going to make it 100. And we're going to save the changes. Now you have the chance to preview your test. When you preview, if you notice, you're going to see it just how the kids see it. Write an essay, multiple choice, blah, 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 blah. All the questions are here. Now, what I was telling you before is we have to change some settings. What Moodle offers is the chance for kids to answer a question. I'm not even going to read this question. I'm just going to pick Rally and submit. I got it right. The idea of submitting each question is really good for a practice test or some type of exam review, and that's what I have my kids do online. So they can individually submit questions and get instant feedback. You don't want that for your test, though. You don't want the kids to know if they're right on every question. So we need to fix that. I'm going to go back to Dell's demo, now that my questions are all there, and go back down to my test. But this time, I'm going to click the editing hand next to my test, not the actual test. Click the editing hand, and this lets you tweak all these options. Okay, if you want the quiz to open at a certain date and certain time, this is how you would do it. If you want it to close on the same day at a different time, you can do that. However, just to let you know, when you set a small window of time, a pop-up shows up when the kids are taking a test of how many minutes they have left, and it kind of freaks them out. So, if you want your test, you only want to try it once. I'm going to go questions. I'm going to do 8 questions per page, which is all the questions. You can change that, obviously. You can do 5 per page or all, whatever you want. I wanted to go to attempts. You want them to have 1 attempt because you don't want them doing it, checking their answers, and doing it again. So you want 1 attempt. Adaptive mode, you do not want adaptive mode. Adaptive mode gives the kids ability to submit their questions, get feedback, and then they only get a partial deduction for getting it wrong the first time. You want all or nothing, as I can assume. So you want the adaptive mode to be on. All right, up here in display, sorry, I'm jumping around. What I prefer is I have the questions shuffled and their answers, which is shuffled within the questions, all mixed up, so that the 2 kids next to each other don't have the same question at the same time, and if they did, their question answers would be shuffled. So it kind of puts a little damper on cheating. So I do shuffle questions, shuffle within questions, yes. You want to also do, when the kids are done with their test, I unclick these because what will happen is a kid on the left will finish the test and will be scrolling through looking at his answers. The kid on the right could be peeking over. Okay, so I shut this off, I unclick this, and the kids can see how they did after I close the test or when they get home. They'll know their score, but they won't be able to go through and see what they got wrong until later. It's up to you. You don't have to have that. I just found some kids tend to have wandering eyes. All right, secure window. If you aren't able to watch your kids, this will disable them from opening any other window. So if, say, they wanted to look up a vocab word and they wanted to cheat, this will block them from opening up any other browser. So if you want to turn that on, awesome. Another thing for security is I don't like when kids all start at different times and some get in and some start late. What you could do is have a password for your test where you get everyone logged in, everyone gets on the internet, everyone goes to Moodle, clicks on your test, but they can't start until you give them the password. So an option would be to make a password for your test before they can start their attempt. Okay? This was good if you were going to use the online grading method, but don't worry about it. And for feedback, if a kid gets 100, you can write, great. If you want to do feedback for maybe the 90 percentile and up, you can leave another message, give them a little feedback. If you want them, to get a different message at 80, you just fill these all in and put different messages at different levels, okay? So save and return to course. And now when a student goes to take your test, they'll only be allowed 1 attempt. So I'm clicking on the test now, I'm going to preview, and it says, hey, you can only take this once, do you want to start? And this is another way to kind of get the kids knowing you have 1 shot at this. Okay. All right, once they're taking the test, if you notice all the submit buttons are gone, once they're taking the test, so I'm just going to kind of make up stuff here, and I'm just going to click through, I don't know, I'm going to say, I'm sure this is a very famous answer, cause, blah, I'm going to pick country music or rally, and Moodle is fun. Okay, I'm going to pick those as my answer. The kids have options. If they have a page that has a certain amount of questions on it, they can save the page without submitting. When the kids are done answering all their questions, when they are finally done, that's when they submit all and finish. Okay? If they are fearful they're going to lose their work, they can save without submitting. It'll save their responses. When they go back, let's say they forgot how to answer number 4 and they get back to it, it'll still be there what they previously put. Okay, so that's saving. You don't want them to submit until they're done. So if I'm all finished, all my answers or questions are answered, I hit submit all and finish. It will make sure, are you sure you want to do this? Because then you can't change your answers. Okay. What the kids will see is this. They'll get an automatic score. Whew, I didn't do very well on that test. It took 59 seconds and I got a 38%. I could scroll through and see what I got right and wrong, only because I'm not in the testing window and I'm an editor, so you can see this, but the kids won't be able to if you turn that option off. Okay? So that is pretty much how to get a Moodle test on and running from examview. I hope you have some luck. If you have images, it's a different tutorial part I'll have to show you, but if you don't, good luck. I hope you guys have some success. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks. Bye.